with another Cognac and Conversations moment, and today we are joined by the legendary Miss Sheila Johnson.
Hey y'all, what's going on? Hey Janelle.
Hello, Miss Gangsta Goodies in the house. I know you've seen her. I know you've seen her videos. If you haven't, we're gonna get into it. You know, I feel like she is our Black Rachel Ray. She's just bubbly and just got all kinds of good information and the things that she can do with a charcuterie board, girl. If you ever found yourself at 3 o'clock in the morning licking your fingers, looking at a picture of shrimp and cheese, this your girl right here. This your girl. So thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
My pleasure, my honor. We can get a drink in.
Let's get a sip.
Yes. Blue cups because we're that is good. We're Crips.
Yeah, look. Yes.
She's a Nipsey Hussle fan. I just found out. Yes. So she is a Crip.
Yes.
In fact, gang. I love it.
And I grew up in the north side of Kansas City.
Okay.
That makes me a double.
Come on, cuz. Okay, cuz. All right. So I want to just dig into your culinary background. Where did it begin? Did you go to culinary school? Give me the background tea.
So no culinary school.
Okay.
And that's why I say to people I'm not a chef.
Okay.
Because to me, in my opinion, and there's differencing of opinions about this, that in order for one to actually call themselves a chef, they have to have the credential. Okay? I don't have that credential.
Okay.
I have an MBA though.
Okay.
And so for someone to call themselves a chef without the credential, to me is like someone saying that they have an MBA, but they've never been to graduate school. Okay? And so that's kind of the, kind of how I look at that. So, no formal training. I have, my mother, was my backbone for everything, and so I learned basically how to cook basically from her. And then as of course I grew older and I had my own style, my mother was strictly soul food. I'm not really that big of a soul food cooker.
Me either. I do not know how to make dressing, y'all. I'm sorry. I take my card away.
Yes.
My bad.
Yes. I don't cook collard greens the way my mother did. I saute collard greens in a wok. And when I tell you they're fire, put some fresh ginger, some fresh garlic. You get some red, yellow, green peppers in there. And, we like that smoky flavor. And I think that is part of, now don't get me wrong, somebody makes some fire collard greens, oh, I'm eating them. Okay? But I just don't cook them that way. And so I put a little bit of liquid smoke in there. And you would never know that smoked turkey neck wasn't in there. And so but soul food, of course, is the base, the baseline, for everything. But yeah, no formal training. I've got mentors along the way, real chefs, that I look to for inspiration, for information. I don't know the science behind cooking. I don't know why you need to do this and do that, why you got to add acid to stuff. I don't know. I just know that it works. And so I rely on them because they do have, that credential to help me understand better why things work or don't work.
Got it. I like that. So you cook with soul. You know what I'm saying? I love that. This is how you know that you can cook when you got that fat right here, or you got just a little, just a little meat right here. That lets us know you know what you're doing. If you gotta be a little thick, a little thick. So with that, I want to ask, what's your favorite palette as far as flavors?
I am more of an African food, Caribbean food kind of girl. So I love the spices. And because I don't really fry stuff, I can't tell you the last time I breaded something and fried it. And so, but you know what? Africans don't eat like that traditionally either. Neither do Caribbeans or Jamaicans. They grill everything. And so you'll see me out in the back with my grill. I've got 4 grills in the back. Okay. And have that grill smoking.
What's that?
Right, come on now. And so one of my favorite is jerk. I love jerk anything. And it's the spice, it's the earthiness, it's the herbs that's added to it. And it helps to to me, to bring the flavor of the meat out.
Okay.
Yes.
So jerk, I'm getting older now, and so my flavor palette has stepped up.
Yes.
Jerk is new to me because at first I was like, what? And even like Creole season, I was like, that's too much. And now I'm like, yes, I don't want to taste anything. I want my nose to run. That's how I know the food is good.
Yes.
Awesome.
I like spice with a little bit of heat. I don't want a whole lot of heat. Because oftentimes, and you'll find this in traditional African and Caribbean cuisine, sometimes the heat is so hot, then it numbs your taste buds, and you can't actually taste the flavor.
Right.
And so flavor over over heat. Now I like a little heat, but not where it overpowers the palate, so that you can't actually taste all that goodness.
Okay.
Yes.
So if one would aspire to be a Caribbean kitchenista, what are some basic flavors or cooking items one should have in her kitchen?
So you're definitely going to have all that it takes to make your own jerk seasoning. Your a dry rub, a jerk dry rub, a jerk wet rub, and a jerk barbecue sauce. Because that's what jerk is. Jerk is Jamaican barbecue.
Okay.
And so like how we in Kansas City, the barbecue capital of the country.
Period, food.
Yes. Period. As the kids say with a T on the end.
Yes. Period.
And so you know how we have a dry rub, and then we also have the barbecue sauce as well. And so kind of that same concept. So you'll have that. Also a good Jamaican curry. You're going to always have some rice. You're going to have some pigeon peas or some red like kidney beans to make your red beans and rice, or your black beans and rice. What else are you going to have always on hand? Scotch bonnet peppers. You got to have those. Because that's where your heat is going to come from. Yes. And you grind that up. I typically roast them, put them through the dehydrator, and then I grind them up. And that is where I get the heat to go into my dry jerk seasoning.
Yes. Okay. So I have to add a redundant question. What is the basics of jerk? Like, what makes jerk jerk?
So jerk is going to have, you're going to have cinnamon in it. You're going to have, I know, right? You're going to have a little brown sugar in it. You're going to have allspice. There's paprika, cumin, a little bit of coriander. And the herbs you can use, I use thyme a lot, fresh thyme. Let's see, garlic is in jerk. But the two things that really set jerk apart from any other spice is the cinnamon and the brown sugar.
Okay. Well, I had no idea. Now I'm about to be a jerk fan just because of cinnamon. I'm a cinnamon enthusiast. I love it.
Yes.
Awesome. So, Gangsta goodies. We cooking up things. So let me ask, what are some of your favorite recipes that you've done on the show? Because I love your enthusiasm, but I'm here for the palate, for the food. Yeah.
So, oh my gosh, Janelle, there are almost 200 episodes out there. And so, gosh, now I'll tell you, one of the things that I have loved is when the guest actually leads the demonstration. Because sometimes it happens when I have guests that love to cook too, and I'm like, yeah, come on, teach me. And so I remember when Basade came on, and she made egusi. Egusi is a West African tradition. It's an okra stew, and some people put goat, smoked fish in it. And they eat it with fufu. And it has palm oil in it too. Oh my God, that was probably one of, as far as the the flavor for my palate, because again, I'm a huge African Caribbean food kind of lover.
Awesome.
Yes.
I love Basade too. I just love her, just what she brings. She's like, hanging out with her is literally like taking a trip to Africa.
Yes.
It is amazing.
Yes.
Just the food, the spirit, the culture, and the fashion, honey.
Absolutely. Absolutely, yes. There's been so many, Janelle. I really tell people all the time, I am so blessed, to have had the opportunity, and it's only getting better, to meet and cook and eat with some of when I tell you Kansas City's finest, Kansas City's finest, and I'm very I'm humbled by that. And I'm very grateful for that, you know, because I learned from them. And we do, you know, often people say, well, why the kitchen? Why, you know? Well, because in our culture, the kitchen has always been the nucleus. You know, our grandmamas and them solved the whole family's issues in that kitchen.
Absolutely.
And around the kitchen table. You know, so we look at it as a way for us to, because we believe that being in the kitchen and cooking together is uniquely positioned to help bring families and communities together one meal at a time. And so our guests come on. Our guests are people who are doing amazing work to impact positive change. And it is a way for us to tell our story, our way, our terms.
Yes, so this is one reason why I enjoy your aesthetic so much, because not only is it about the flavor palette in the meal, but you curate an experience.
Yes.
So it's like you know essentially where your food is coming from, not just from my kitchen, but the background of this dish.
Absolutely.
I love that about
Absolutely. If you all have not seen High on the Hog.
Yes, so good.
I'm like,
so
oh
good.
my God.
So good.
It is just, I mean, who knew? I had no idea black-eyed peas and okra were brought by our ancestors. You know, and it's so, when we really understand, I think, who we are and the role that food and the kitchen has always played since the beginning of time, you know, that's something very special about that, you know, and we can use that, you know, to bond, to connect. You know, I think about when my brothers and I were growing up. My mother was a single mom, and I have two brothers. And when she got in the kitchen, that meant we were all in the kitchen and around the kitchen table. So I might be cutting up onions, the other one may be taking out the trash, the other one, you know, my other brother may be cleaning up as she cooks. It was a team. So even though we didn't realize that was what was going on, but we learned how to work together as a team.
I was running a restaurant.
In the kitchen.
In
the kitchen. And my mother was an LPN, and she worked 10, 12 hours a day. Janelle, we didn't eat, my mother didn't feed us off of paper plates. We didn't eat out a lot. You know, my mother cooked, and what I know now too is that was her love language. That was one of the ways that she expressed her love and adoration for her family. And it was a big deal. Our table, and I grew up in Parker Square, okay? But when you walk into our house, you wouldn't think we were in Parker Square, because that was everything. You know, the table, the linen, you know, down to the pots and the pans that my mother used. She was always done by cheap pans. That does you no service.
I bought the pans from the dollar store,
Yes,
y'all. Although they nice and it's a good deal, you could die later.
Yes, don't do
All kinds
it.
of stuff.
Yes, don't buy that pair of shoes. Go ahead and buy that $120 skillet. You know, because first of all, it's going to last you forever.
Absolutely. Get a cast iron too.
Yes, absolutely, yeah. And
I'm
so,
gonna walk after this.
oh my God, yes. I'm saving my pennies to get a cast iron wok.
She's rich. She's rich.
A cast iron wok.
Yes.
You heard me say I'm saving my pennies.
So
I think it's like $400.
Oh my God.
Yeah, the one I want is like $450. Yeah.
Ooh, that's half of somebody's rent.
Exactly.
Oh,
Yes.
Now I see why people sell plates.
Yeah.
You gotta pay for the pots and pans, Lord. Oh my God. We gonna have to have a fun right
Yes.
So let's talk about this. TikTok, we've all been in the pandemic, and now we're all culinary geniuses because of TikTok. Lord, what I can do with an air fryer. God, listen.
Wow. Okay, see, I don't have an air fryer.
Really? Oh my gosh. Let me tell you, I know it's the devil's work. And I know 10 years from now there's going to be a commercial like, hey, did you buy an air fryer from this year to this year? Well, you're entitled to compensation. You know, I know it's going to be one of those scenarios, but because of TikTok and just all these quick meals, charcuterie is the thing now.
It is the thing.
It is the thing.
Yes.
I remember it used to be a rich people, you know, like we would only bring this out for special occasions.
Yes.
You know. But it is literally like a social thing. If you don't have a charcuterie board, you're basic.
Yes.
Don't invite me.
Absolutely.
So I love what you do because you level up. The charcuterie board. Nothing on this board came out of plastic.
No.
It was farm raised. We know the parents came from a 2-parent household.
Yes.
All the food and the cheese. Okay. So did you master this?
Well, you know, Janelle, I would say that I am still working on mastering it.
Okay.
You know, and because I truly believe that because a gangsta is always looking for ways to improve and grow and develop.
Okay,
and I am definitely a gangsta. Okay, and so it is. I handpick everything, you know, and I typically, you know, I go to Trader Joe's, I go to Whole Foods. I'm more of a Trader Joe's, but I also will go to Aldi's as well for a couple of things. My boards are going to always have one of our signature dips on it. That's one of the things that also sets us apart. It'll either have a signature dip, or depending on the size, it'll have a signature dip and one of our signature hummuses. Hummuses, that's not even a word. But either our black eyed pea hummus or our red beans and rice hummus.
Wow.
Yes, because we, you know,
you see what she did there? She just brought it back.
Yeah, absolutely.
First of all, never had red beans and rice or black eyed pea hummus. Hold on, my Houston relatives.
Yes.
I'm about to put y'all on some new stuff.
Yes,
okay.
yes.
How did you even create something like that?
Well, actually what happened was, I'll tell you, the red beans and rice hummus is an inspiration from Chef Shanita Bryan.
Okay.
With the Prospect KC.
Okay.
I'm not sure if you remember Magnolia's Southern Bistro. Okay. And so she is the chef. She had done something one time. I'm like, what is that? And she's like, that's red beans and rice hummus. I'm like, what? Wait a minute. What? And so I'm like, you know I'm going to be perfecting that recipe. I'm going to be calling you. Don't give me yours. I'm going to create my own. But make sure I'm on the right path. And she's like, oh yeah, girl, you got it. Amazing. And it's and you literally make red beans and rice, you know. And so it's not like a quick fix or anything like that. You know, even with the black eyed peas, I cook the black eyed peas as if I was going to cook them to serve them as a meal, part of a meal. And then you start the hummus process.
Okay.
And so I have done charcuteries forever.
Okay.
For my family and friends. You know, I love to host. And so I am a part of a book club, a martini club, a craft club. And so whenever it's my turn to host, no matter what else I'm serving, I'm always going to have a charcuterie for my friends.
This one is beautiful.
Thank you.
It's just so many flavor palettes and colors. I'm excited.
Yes.
I literally can't wait to get into it. So one of the things that I do like is that you have a lot of people on from Kansas City and you create this Kansas City experience. I want to know, would you ever venture into being in a restaurant or, you know, being a part of a restaurant here?
So, my daughters have asked that. They're like, you know, and other people, why not a restaurant? Well, I'll never say never, you know, but at 54, I'm not trying to work like that. And that's
she's 22.
And that's the real thing, okay? That restaurant work is hard work.
Yeah.
Okay, so don't get it twisted. It ain't no joke. Now I'll go host, and I have hosted, you know, across the city, you know, at several restaurants. You know, but that's the part that I enjoy. I enjoy welcoming the guest into the restaurant to begin that whole experience that they're going to have. But being in that kitchen, no. Lifting all them heavy pots and pans.
I can understand.
No. And so, as my grandmother would expect for me to do, you use this, not your body.
Absolutely.
You know, and so, and again, I've lived half my life. Now, I'm going to live to be a 90-year-old spunky woman.
Yes.
But that means I have to make sure that I don't abuse this.
Absolutely.
You know, and so the restaurant industry, it's tough. It is tough. Again, I'll never say never, because who knows? Who knows, you know, what the creator has in store. But it's just not my path. It's not my path. Now, what is my path is we have the show. And so the goal is, like we see any of the other greats that we've seen on national and international platforms, is that you're going to look up one day very soon and you're going to see us on those platforms.
Absolutely.
So we have that. Then we're also developing what we call Gangsta style. So, because I'm a big fan and was a big fan of, God rest her soul, B. Smith.
Okay.
B. Smith was a lifestyle kind of personality. She cooked, she decorated, she did all of that. And so, and I do too, you know? And so Gangster style is, and we'll start with accessories for the kitchen and for your kitchen table. So whether that's table runners, placemats, cutting boards, wine racks, spice racks, those basic necessities that people are going to Target every day and buying.
Yes.
Why not buy a Gangster, one by Gangster style?
This is what I love, because you curate this experience, this whole, you know, because a lot of us, we're so conditioned to just eating in our laps in front of the TV that sometimes we don't have a traditional dinner. So what I love is that you just create this whole ambiance and spectacular experience. You are going to make me very bougie.
Thank you. Yeah. When it comes to food, I am.
Yes, so on a closing note, I would just like to know, one, I want to be on the show.
Yes, you have to come.
I don't know what I'm going to make in this air fryer, honey.
Yes, you can show me how to use it, because I've never used the air fryer.
Show you how to bring McDonald's fries back to life.
Okay,
I can show you how to spice up a fish fillet sandwich here.
Okay, let's do it. We're going to have to do it for real, for real.
Yes, absolutely. Where else can we see you? What else is in store? I know you have your style section coming up. What else do you have coming?
So we also are launching Mrs. Jones.
Okay.
Mrs. Jones is our natural kitchen cleaner. And so, yes, and so about 11 years ago, I was diagnosed with a very rare type of lymphoma that the scientists say have no cure. And they're like, Sheila, we don't know where it came, it's somewhere in the environment or who knows. And so I had to start thinking about what are those things that I'm coming in contact with all the time, you know, and coming from, you know, a family where my mother was extreme. When I tell you about cleanliness, extreme. And my grandmother, more extreme. So my grandmother's name was Maggie Jones. And so hence the name Mrs. Jones. And my grandmother was also the one who really sparked my love for learning. She was like, look at here, you a pretty girl, but what else you got? If you ain't got nothing up here, and you got nothing here, all that don't matter, because the girl around the corner is prettier than you. And she looked me up and down and say, then what you gonna do?
And she might have a job.
Right, exactly. And so, you know, she's like, all of this, that don't mean nothing, okay? You better get some substance, little girl, you know? And so Mrs. Jones is my answer to, and I've been whipping this formula up for years, but the thought never occurred to me to actually distribute it. You know, produce it and distribute it in a larger quantity into one of my sessions with Nipsey Hussle. Okay, and so Mrs. Jones, so that is hitting in, I'm gonna say it's April, right around spring cleaning. Okay, you know, awesome. And so yes, and so we're starting with 2 scents, which is a citrus lemon scent and then a lavender scent.
Perfect.
And because those are the 2 top cleaning fragrances that women across the board absolutely love.
Absolutely. So just entrepreneurship round and around, and it's so exciting to absorb this goodness. I'm inspired, hands down, just because of what you do. And we had a conversation earlier about getting up and creating your business and getting behind the camera, being your own pusher.
Yes.
Pusher, come on.
Yes.
Gangsta.
Yes.
I love it. So thank you so much for having a cognac and conversation with me today.
Yes. Cheers.
We're gonna finish this and dive into the board. And next month we will be back with an amazing interview. I'm so happy to finally meet you in person. This is a fangirl for her behind closed doors. So it's just your social activism and everything you do in Kansas City. You are a staple and you deserve your flowers.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
You're gonna make me cry. Look, then I'm
all for the tears.
Then eyelashes gonna come off.
Thank you so much. I am Janelle Banks, the host that does the most. And thank you so much for tuning in to Cognac and Conversations. And thank you to KC Culture Magazine. We wouldn't be here without you. Thank you for tuning in. See y'all next month. Bye-bye.